Good morning. My name is Sterling Connolly Chu. Welcome to Second Growth Homes. Today we're at my family's Mobile Dimension Sawmills, and we are going to be milling Sitka spruce 2x10 by 14 feet. These 2x10s are going to be laminated together into a 6x10 that's going to be a foundation girder under an A-frame cabin that we're going to be building in Gustavus on this channel. Let's go ahead and get started. This is a Mobile Dimension sawmill, the Volkswagen engine. It's air cooled, so all you have to do every day is check the oil. Oil's good. And fill up the gas tank. And then we always look over the mill, make sure there's no loose parts or bolts, make sure your fuel line is in place, make sure nothing's touching the hot exhausts. Okay. I really like fueling up with these little jugs. We filter our gas into these jugs so it's super clean into there. I need to get a new gas tank for this mill. I gotta call Mobile Dimension and see if they figured out their gas tanks yet. Now we take the battery off every day. And I can tell the mill's pretty dusty. It collects a lot of dust and you really need to keep it clean or else it'll overheat, have fire danger. So we got about a half a day of cutting and then start a generator, get the compressor going, blow this baby off. Okay. I always pump the gas a couple times. Seems like it helps. Warming up, it'll lose power and sometimes die. And I basically just need to let it warm up and it runs perfectly. So the one thing that I do that's a little different is every day when I'm warming the mill up, I hook a pair of jumper cables from the engine that's on the mill down to these batteries here. What run the motor. So you can either swap them out every couple days or you can just do this and that just charges them right up. Line the mill up with the log. So, if this is the log, our mill is a little bit like this. Over here. So I'm going to move this end of the mill over. You do that by pushing in this handle right here. That disengages one end of the mill from the other. Now you can grab this, and you can move this end of the mill over. You can line it up with a log. won't reconnect, and then you'll make boards that are like totally tapered. So everything's great about this except for I might be able to get a 1x6 off the top of that log. So I'm going to come up 1.5 inches, and we'll try to take a 1x6 off the top, a whole row of 2x10s, and then 1x6 off the bottom. So these videos of us milling are soon going to turn into building, and we're going to use all this timber you see here behind me, plus a bunch we got in the shed, a bunch of this, and we're going to Gustavus to build a 20 by 36 A-frame cabin. So if you'd like to come with me to that, click the like and subscribe buttons below. Come back to YouTube and search for Second Growth Homes. You can come with us that way. I've already got the foundation poured in Gustavus, and we just need to barred all this timber I've been milling over there and get to work. Taking a big flat off the top. It's nice having the big edger blade because you can get these big pieces, but when you have the 2 edger blades, we could have actually started down here and come all the way across like that. It'd be kind of cool. So there's benefits and negatives to both. I cut for years with the big edger blade, and then I finally switched to small ones. I love it. Now I'm back to the big ones. So there's benefits to both. Benefit to the big edger blade is that we can cut a 1x6 on the flat, which is really handy. So we're gonna go ahead and come over 7 inches and just buzz that off now. So the maximum this mill will go over is 7 inches. 7 by 12 is your maximum size. So go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. mills and just solves it. I can tell by looking at the dust, we are close to needing to sharpen the mill. It's pretty dull right now. If I was seeing giant shaving, I know the mill was sharp. If I'm seeing that fine dust, I know the mill's dull. We got a little bit of track bounce, a 30-foot track. So we're gonna take a 1x12 off of there, or sorry, a 1x10, and then we'll be making our lumber here. So when you're using the two edger blades, your lumber is literally always exactly perfect as long as both blades are touching it. With the single edger blade, the height of your lumber is dictated by how high the mill is. So we need to check that first board and maybe make an adjustment up or down like 1/8 of an inch. Cool. Alaska passed a new law, and I took a class, and I can now grade our own lumber for Alaska use. So I'm grading this board right now, and it's a solid number 2, and it's awesome. Pretty much all the second growth comes out as a graded number 2, but sometimes if you're cutting 2x4s, the knots are too big. So this is pretty cool. Whoops. This is some of the first lumber produced under the Alaska lumber grading program for us. boards are exactly 10 1/8 inch. Perfect. Cranking that arm over, and that helps with track balance. You don't want too much pressure on that. You want it to just be kissing its way along. That was funny. I was just saying, I never have any problems with the set growth. I just had my very first problem, I think ever, where the main blade got hot, and I think it was because I had too much pressure on that lever, but it might just also be it's a little dull. So what happens is, often when you have an issue is that the main blade itself gets hot. When that happens, it starts to cup, and it immediately messes up the sawing. I'm going to send the mill down one more time real slow. We'll see if it cleans that up. Tension on that side of the log over there. Wow. Yeah, I got a little bit of tension in this one, I guess. The blade's a little dull though, that might be all that is. I got my board out of it though. Yeah, it's interesting. We run into this in old growth all the time, but never really ran into it so much in second growth. Yeah, blade's a little hot. Well, let's back it out. Let it cool down. Try it again. Wow. Well, I guess we'll sharpen up and do that again. Oh. Yeah, it's interesting. I've never seen it in set growth. So what happens is you're going along, and then for whatever reason the main blade will get hot, I don't know, you can almost see that little dirt or something in there. And then the blade will start going over that way. So we'll chop that out and move on. Still just a touch warm. So we're just gonna sharpen up to keep going. Hope there's nothing wrong. My guess is there's nothing wrong. I was cutting pretty fast and my blade was getting a little bit dull, and I think it was a combination of me cutting fast, dull blade mixed with the rough end of that log. There was a little bit of weird stuff going on in there. So let's grab the sharpener. Okay, so the first thing you do anytime you're having problems with this mill is sharpen it up. And you know, really, more often than not, you'll sharpen it up, you'll cut, and you'll just keep going. The teeth are dull. They're not like super bad or anything. Honestly, I'm slightly surprised we have that issue. So this just clamps right onto the blade, no problem. It swings like this through the teeth, and this little wheel on the end moves this grinding wheel down or up. So we adjust it just till it's barely touching or even not touching. And you just take little cuts, like a quarter of a turn, quarter of a turn. Okay. So this tooth is close to being gone. So a new tooth will be up here, I'll exaggerate a little bit like this. And when they're ground all the way down, the grinder will run into this gullet right here. So that's almost done, but probably another good couple days in there. So let's just sharpen it up and we'll see if we need to change any teeth. Well, we're all sharpened up. Let's dog this log in and get to milling. This one's a little nicer, it's a little bigger. It's the butt log on that tree. So that log we just milled was the second log up from the butt, and this is the first one.